Yes, I'm Roman, and how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today, I will tell you about my experience in Spain, the time I got trapped in Spain. Let's go. This happened last year, 2021, where I went to Spain for the very first time. So I went to Madrid first. You may see what that is like by this video right here. And then Salamanca. Again, if you want to see what I did there, you may look at this video right here. Anyways, I had a wonderful time in Spain. It was simply spectacular. However, the problem occurred when I had to come back here to France. It started off like any ordinary morning. Everything went well. I had a wonderful time. On my way to the airport in Madrid, I got a message on my phone saying that if you have no luggage, if you have nothing to declare, then you may go to a specific desk. I went to that desk and the first thing the lady said to me was,
"What are you doing here?"
Her tone was a bit strong. I slightly felt offended. Nonetheless, I ignored it and I explained that I got a message, and she interrupted me and said, hey, go to the machines there. So I said, okay. I went to the machines and I was simply trying to figure out how they worked, and they were not working. I don't know why. Eventually, I joined the line and someone sent me back to the machine. And I explained it wasn't working. She went with me. She realized that it wasn't working as well. And so she sent me back to the line. And when I was at the front desk, when the person was attending to me, she took my documents and there was this silence. It was so silent that I was uncomfortable. And then I said, is there something wrong? And she said, yes, there's a problem. Your COVID results will expire before you get to France. So you cannot take the plane. I was honestly stunned. Here it is that I did my COVID test, and this lady's telling me that I can't board the plane because when I get to France, my test will expire.
That don't make no sense.
However, what was frustrating for me was that my test was valid. It was valid, and it would have been valid upon being in the plane. It is just that before getting to France, it would have expired. And what I'm saying is this. Okay, fine. I am clean. I don't have COVID. I will go on the plane with others who don't have COVID. But just because my test will expire, I will contact COVID in the plane. It was super frustrating. And so I said to her, what do I do? And she told me that there is a medical office in the airport where I could go and I could get a COVID test done. What was strange was that I had a similar situation while going to Spain, but it was dealt with differently. The COVID test I took was on a Saturday, and when I traveled, by the time I got to Spain, it would have expired and there was no problem. I even explained that to the lady that it was the same thing when I got here to Spain. It was impossible to do the test on a Sunday because the doctor's office was open on a Saturday and that was my last day to do it. Therefore, it was impossible. Anyways, she didn't accept that I went to do the test. There were so many people there. Nonetheless, I realized that time was going and I was going to miss my flight. I didn't know what to do. I was going to waste money. However, I realized that if I left now, I don't know what would have happened. I didn't want to create a scene unnecessarily. I didn't want to leave and have to join the line again because maybe...
Look at me, son. Holy shit. This is not your fault.
I contacted my friend and I said, I'm going to miss my flight. In fact, I have missed my flight. It's impossible to get it now. And she said, oh, thank you so much, Rachel. She said, don't worry about it. You can stay with me. So that calmed me down and I decided that I would just simply call this a loss. I did the test and I had to wait 24 hours in order to get my results. Anyways, I was a little bit calm because I talked to my friend and she said, hey, just stay with me. And I decided that, you know what? I'll get to spend 1 more day or 2 more days in Spain, so I win. I decided to eat something quickly afterwards because food usually calms me down. The day went on and I went back to my friends and we stayed there. So while I was waiting for the results, I kept checking flights. And it was super difficult because the flights were super expensive because I was looking for flights for the next day. I woke up at 6 in the morning and I kept looking for flights, looking for a way out. My friend went to work, she left me at her place, and then she sent me a message saying, hey, do you mind taking a bus? And I said, no, that would be cool if it's cheap, yeah. She said, well, it's 72 euros. And I said, of course, I'll take a bus for 72 euros. But she said, you'd have to leave right now. I didn't eat. I didn't shower, I didn't do anything, so I had to quickly rush, get dressed, and I thought I would have missed the bus. I took the bus, 17 hours in the bus without sleeping. I got back to France to a class there was a special class that I had to teach, which was a surprise to me. And I didn't sleep. So I went home, left my bag, went to work, taught, went back home, and I was knocked out. I literally went to sleep immediately and I woke up the next day. So yes, that is literally it. That is the time I got trapped in Spain. I was technically trapped for 2 days. Anyways, do you have a similar experience? Have you ever been trapped abroad? If you have a similar experience, let me know in the comments. And again, if you like this video, as always, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.